Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Bradley. Bradley is from Connecticut in the USA. So let's see what Bradley has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning, Brad. I'm very well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Is the audio good? I have a headset that
It's
is
perfect.
it's
It's
good.
perfect.
Okay.
Should I
Okay.
call you Bradley or Brad?
Yeah, Bradley's good.
Bradley. Perfect.
Yes.
So tell me, how's your morning going so far?
It's been pretty good. My sister got married on Friday, and I know it's been a busy weekend, and
Wow.
I was just on national news actually yesterday, just talking about student loan debt. So, um, I don't know, I don't know. It's been a busy weekend. I am so tired from the wedding. I'm still trying to recover from it. Um, yeah. So,
Oh my God! Send my regards to your sister. Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
No, it went perfect. So she looked gorgeous, and I mean, it was downpouring, but besides that, it all went so well. So it was great.
You have just one sister?
Yeah, one sister and then an older brother. So I'm the middle child.
I see. And tell me, where are you from, Bradley?
I grew up in Connecticut in America,
Okay.
so on the East Coast. Connecticut could be kind of boring, but I do enjoy being on the East Coast. So, have you been? Have you been like over?
No, I haven't actually. I meant to go there in the end of last year because my best friend he lives in Canada in Montreal, and
Oh,
in
cool.
Montreal it's not far. It's quite 1 hour flight. I had an interview with a lovely man, a photographer,
Mhm.
and we want to do some collaboration. He wants to take some pictures, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be in Canada, so I could fly there. But because of the COVID restriction at the time, wouldn't be possible for me. It would be too much also for like 2 days traveling, a lot of tests and everything. So unfortunately, we didn't make it. But yeah, one day I'll come for sure to visit.
Yeah, we're not going away. We'll be here. So,
And so that's the place we are being raised, and you've been raised and born as well.
yep, yeah. I grew up in Connecticut. Then I lived in New York for 7 years between going to school and living in New York City. And then I moved back to Connecticut 6 years ago. So, kind of all over the place, but.
I see. Okay, Bradley, I'm going, as you already touched in a very important topic about student loan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, when I was checking your profile on TikTok, you openly, you made a video openly talk about it. Very emotional, very open. So you already talked about that. You mentioned already about you're in the news last night regarding that. So walk me through a little bit about that journey, or that gave a big impact in your life that you shared so openly on TikTok. It's okay to talk about it?
Yeah, yeah, I'm a pretty open book with most things if my TikTok did not make that obvious. So, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty chill to talk about most things. But um yeah, I don't even know where to begin with it when I talk about my student loan debt just because it's been the past 10 years of my life and I'm 30 years old, so like a third of my life has comprised of, you know, the student loan battle that I've been in. And I don't know if you want me to start from like beginning to end because there's a lot, but at least when it came to me posting it on TikTok, it I was so open and vulnerable about so much in my life on TikTok, and which people might say is cringy, but I find social media to be so phony. I find it to be so fake. I find it to be so like manufactured. And I think people could get really lost in that and they could feel very alone because if all you see are the good times and everyone's picture perfect life, you really start to feel alone in your own suffering and what you're going through, which is what I experienced a lot in my early to mid 20s with my student loan debt. So I've always just, I've had no problem opening up on TikTok and social media just because, again, I want to show people like the reality of life that people struggle with things and we all have our battles and there's things that we're trying to get through. But when it came to my student loan debt, it was just like the one topic I just didn't ever talk about. Because, I don't think anyone, I know you said you're in the UK, at least here in America, it's probably a worldwide feeling, but no one wants to talk about debt or struggling with money. You feel like you're a loser to society, and everyone looks at you like, well, why aren't you doing better? This and that. So I just avoided the topic altogether. And it just came to a point one day where I was like, I might as well just share my story, and because I've already talked about everything else, and my student loan debt is such a massive part of my life, if I want to admit that or not, because I think some people would say, there's so much more to life than that. But until you're 20 years old with that much debt, you don't really know what it feels like. So anyways, I shared my story thinking, genuinely deep down thought no one's going to care. I thought maybe the video will get a couple thousand views and people will move on, just because, again, millions of people in America have student loan debt. I think they say over 40 million people. Yeah. And, so not only do so many people have student loan debt, but so many people struggle financially, that I felt like sharing my story. I'm no different than anyone else. Nothing about my story stands out. So I really thought, I'm going to post this, and it just is what it is, and I'll move on. And I think within 2 days, my story got like 500,000 views. And I was like, okay. And then I think within a couple of weeks to about a month, my story was viewed like almost 3 million times.
Well,
Yeah. And my life like completely changed after that moment. And, not my physical life, I still live in a small, tiny studio. People see you have so many followers and they think you have this big life. Like, I'm still me. Like, my life is very simple and like slow, but I just have that internet life. I don't know. It's weird to explain, but um, I don't know. It's been almost 2 years since I shared my story, and to this day, I still like sit back and I'm like, I can't believe this happened.
mhm.
And even like being invited onto, it was NBC Evening News last night, and they just wanted me to be part of the student loan story that they were broadcasting,
Well,
because student loan payments here in America are coming back starting today, which is kind of crazy after 3.5 years of no payments. I don't know what it was like in the UK during the pandemic, but we didn't have to make student loan payments for the past 3.5 years. And there was no interest, which is really the biggest problem with student loans. So anyways, it's like posting my story less than 2 years ago, thinking nothing would come of it. And now, the story going viral, articles being written about it, and then literally having news stations even know who I am to reach out to me to be like, we know you talk about student loan debt, be on our segment. It's wild. It's I couldn't put into words to tell you, but I never would have expected this
it,
all to happen. So it's been life changing and incredible, and like such a dream come true.
it's amazing. Actually, I think you did a good thing. That's it's visible because I think people, as you said, I think nowadays on social media, people they sell perfection that it does exist,
Mm,
but I think nowadays people they appreciate even more when people literally talk openly about issues, about taboos, about things that people never talk about before. And somehow you're helping people. I think sharing our vulnerable side as well, our weakness or our problems or issues that sometimes it's here and sometimes just need to put it out somehow. You know what I mean? And as you did, you're very genuine. Watch the video, you could see that you're as the beginning you say, I'm not sure if I should share that. You just put it out and people
mhm.
appreciate that. And I think it's visible now because again I think worldwide people It's funny because in the magic box there is a question about if you could make up a new school subject, what that would be. And a lot of people, they mention about as subjects, early days when people could would know and learn how to deal with money. You do know what I mean? Because we don't learn that. We just learn when you get in debt, when we we don't know how to deal with money. So I think it's really a good point, and I think that's why people appreciate and people connect so well with you because of that. Because a lot of people, no, all of us, we wish we could have this knowledge growing up. You know what I mean? Before we start adult life. So I think people, they would be in such different direction now, and they will understand more. So yeah, thanks so much for sharing. You know what I mean? I think it's great, and I'm sure people, they appreciate that as well. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through memories in life and share your point of views?
Oh God. Okay, sure.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I have here my best friend. Full of fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Let's do it. Okay, Bradley, before we start the game, during the join, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Sure.
First question for you is, what is your funniest memory of a date that you had?
I don't feel like I know. You're gonna be like, why did I ask this guy to interview him? I don't feel like I have a good answer for a date, but the craziest way I met someone that I started dating was through threesome. So
Okay.
that was very unexpected. So that was a mess. But yeah, that was kind of like the most unique way I've met someone. I wouldn't say I have like a date memory that was like chaotic or memorable. I don't know.
As you just mentioned that you just starting a dating life again. Tell me one person to go on a date with you. What this person must have, and what's something that this person must not have.
Oh my God. I think for me, oh my God, I don't feel like I'm really picky. I think the only thing that matters a lot to me is that, I mean, there's a lot that matters to me with dating someone, but besides them being, kind and treat me well, if there was another factor I look into, it's just that they're financially responsible. And it's different from saying like I want a guy with money because that's never been my thing. I'm very independent, and I think two people could work together to be one. But I just don't think at this point in my life I could, especially with what I went through with my student loan debt. I don't think I could be with someone who, you know, just shops all the time or getting coffee all the time or, not making their meals at home. Like I don't know. It's not to be like judgmental, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a very like financially strict person,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really go out to eat. I don't really like to go shopping. I don't know, I just like to save my money. That's just who I am. So I don't think I would really want to be with someone who's really reckless financially.
I see. Okay. The message out there.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see after if anyone watches this, message me on my Instagram. We'll see if we're
Let's
a
see.
match.
Next question. Hey, Bradley. Next question is, what is the nicest thing a family member has ever done for you?
Oh God. Uh, I need to dig so deep. It's okay. I think honestly, the one thing that just popped in my head was it was Christmas Day, and I was probably in middle school. I don't know why, but when I was a kid, I was obsessed with like fish and like having a fish tank. I don't even ask me why. It was such like a phenomenon for me. And um just Christmas Day, I walked out to the living room and there was this like huge fish tank that I was always kind of looking at. So Santa, aka mom and dad, made that work. Um, So I don't that's like such a core memory from childhood, even though
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like I can't remember much. I just remember the whole moment happening. So that was really sweet of my parents to be able to make that happen and also tolerate my fish tank obsession through my childhood years, which was really weird because I actually hate like fish from the ocean terrify me. Like I'm afraid to kind of go in the ocean because I don't want like little fish to come up to me. So I don't know how it all worked out, but I guess that's a really like sweet moment from my parents doing that.
Nowadays, which person in your family you are more close to?
Oh, my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. She and I mean it kind of was rough and rocky growing up,
Hmm.
but she and I it's weird because we were close, but we also would fight. But I think that's a little normal with childhood relationships. Um, but yeah, just as we've grown older, I feel like we've come so close together. And even me being the man of honor for her,
Oh,
she didn't have a what is it? Not a bridesmaid. I always forget what we call like the best. It's not the best man, but the best woman. But she made me her man of honor, which was like so sweet that she chose me to be like by her side, for the wedding. And I don't know, it's just nice that we've gotten older and we've kind of become who we are. Um, and yeah, my sister.
very sweet. Next question. Before the next question, Bradley, tell me, what do you do for work, for living?
So right now I teach financial literacy. I overlook a program that teaches folks where I live just the basics about money.
Hmm.
So, like budgeting, why it's important to save, um, how to rebuild your credit score, stuff like that. I don't think they have a credit score in the UK, right? You
Yes,
guys,
we do. Yeah.
oh, you guys do? Okay. All right. Everyone is always like, America's so stupid to have a credit score, but I didn't know who else has one. But um, so I do that, but I went to college as, for culinary. I went to culinary school, so my whole career has been so all over the place.
Yeah.
But at the moment, that's what I'm doing. And, I think people are so bound by their career and always moving up. And I think I've just gotten to this point because I was so unhappy in the food industry and just making such little money. And it didn't feel fulfilling that I think I'm just at this point where as long as I can enjoy what I'm doing
Mhm.
and I'm also able to financially support myself, that's really what I care about more than like just trying to go up, 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 up. So I mean, I'm doing that now. In 2 years, I don't even know what I could be doing 2 years from now. So I would love to have my own business.
Mhm.
I do dog sitting on the side and I just love it. And the people that, I watch their dogs for, like, really appreciate the service I provide. So maybe I'll watch this back in 2 years and I have my own dog sitting business. I don't know. They say to manifest it, so I'm putting it out there. But yes, I know my answers are so all over the place. I'm sorry, but
No, no, you're just be
I know
yourself.
I talk in circles and loops. But yep, so I teach financial literacy right now.
I see. Okay. Next question for you is, what is your favorite weekend activity?
If it's nice out, like spring, summer, fall, I love to just be outside. I know this
Mhm.
is gonna sound so like retirement home vibes, but I love to just walk around like listening to music or I'll like go on a walk while I'm editing content. I just love being outside. But um I don't know, physical activity of the weekend would be my parents have 3 yellow labs, so sometimes it's fun to just go over to their house and play with the dogs and kinda get my, like, animal therapy fix. They're very cute, so I'll just say that.
Wait. Next question. Let's do it. Next question for you is, what's the most dramatic argument you ever had?
Dramatic? Oh. I don't know if I would say it's the most dramatic, but it
Okay.
actually recently just happened because and I might make a TikTok about it one day, I don't know, but, um, it was with my mechanic, with my car, I know this is gonna sound so bad, but I was not in the wrong, so I stood up for myself. But anyways, they held on to my car for 6 weeks, which is kind of outrageous, just to fix one thing. And I've been a customer of theirs for over 4 years, and I just feel like they were treating me really poorly. Um, and there just was like no communication, and they kept telling me it'll be done, it'll be done, it'll be done, and it kept getting pushed off. And so the mechanic who owns the business, he told me, okay, it'll be done at this time and it'll cost you $400. 3 weeks goes by and the car's finally done. Like it just was so bad. It was so frustrating. And I show up to the shop and they say, okay, so it's going to be 600 and something dollars. And I was like, the older me, or not older me, younger me would have just been like, all right, I'm not going to put up a fight. Like, just take my money and I'm just going to tolerate it and move on. But we don't do that anymore. We don't tolerate people's bullshit. So I just was like, this was awful service. You guys told me it was going to be $400. You couldn't even have the decency to communicate with me. It was now going to be even more money. And, from what I talk about on TikTok, like my relationship with money is very unhealthy. I'll just be honest. Like I was mentally prepared for $400. I was not emotionally or mentally prepared for 600 and something. So that played a role in this. And I just stood up for myself. Like it didn't get nasty, but I was like, I'm not leaving without my car because you've had it for a month and a half and you're going to take the 400 because I'm doing what you told me and we're going to leave it at that. So the lady was like, your invoice is going to say unpaid, not in full, and the manager is going to call you on Monday. And it's been about a month and the manager never called me. So he probably knows he was in the wrong. And because he wasn't there when this was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it was a moment. It's not like my typical self to act like that, but I'm also just not tolerating people's BS anymore. And honestly, I think it comes from like the hate that I get on TikTok, that people just feel like they could say anything to me when they don't even know me. And even though I put so much out there, you don't know every detail to a situation, and you definitely don't know everything about me. So just for people to like leave their mean comments, that has been my start of like, I'm not tolerating this anymore. And now it's coming into like my real life. So yeah, it was a moment. And like one of the mechanics came up to like butt in, and I was like, it was a mess. That was it.
Would you come back there again if you had a problem with your car?
Oh no, no, I said I'm never gonna go back. And I told them that. So that's fine, not my loss. I'm not tolerating it anymore.
But I think, to be honest with you, I think at those moments, I think if people that are clever enough, they would appreciate that as well, because you just, stand up for what's being told to you, what I mean? Sometimes I think from the other side as well, they need to understand that, I mean? There is words put in place, there is some, delays happened before you were expecting that. So in the end of the day, people, they need to understand. It's good sometimes to speak out as well, because if you don't, you're just gonna, you know what I mean? Pay it
Yeah,
or
no,
so it's great.
yeah, I'm not, I got walked all over growing up, like being in the closet and trying to be like the best child possible.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm like, no one's walking over me anymore. I've had enough.
Ready for another question?
I am.
Let's do it. Next question for you is, what's the best and the worst of being yourself?
Oh no, it's gonna be a therapy session. What's the best and worst thing about being myself? That's such a good question. Um, I think the best thing about being myself is that I'm really happy with the life that I live, and I'm so glad I didn't give up before achieving this life. Just because I had so many reasons. You know, my life was just such a mess up until I'd say maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was so unhappy. I was so unfulfilled. I was drowning in my debt. And I think the fact that I had the strength to push through and keep going and turn my life into what it is now. Best part of me is that I'm glad I believed in myself, and my life has become even more than what I expected. And I could say a million things about it's something that I say is like not good about being me or something that's challenging. I think it's just oh man. I think unfortunately I see things through a very negative lens,
Mhm.
and I feel like I I hate to make it as an excuse, but I feel like it's what I learned from growing up
Mhm.
because my parents are just very like negative and defeated people. And I feel like they're getting better, I guess. But you know, when you're young and that's kind of all you see, that's kind of how you think it goes. And um, I don't know. So I think it just makes my life difficult because I kind of can't always see the positive in something. And I try very hard. It's just so much more natural for me to lean to the negative. So, you know, like me being 30 years old, like I'm having this like semi crisis lately where I'm like you're starting to look different and like it's not gonna get better from here because your looks are like gonna start to fade and your body's gonna start, you know, but the positive would be you're 30, like there's still so much life ahead. 30 is really not old at all. But that's just what makes being me very difficult is that I just happen to feel like I feel things in more of a negative way. And I don't feel like I put it onto other people. I try
Mhm.
to be very positive and happy and uplifting with other people. Like it might no. I was gonna say it might show on my TikTok content, but I don't think so. My TikTok is like my diary. So I put the good and the bad out there. And people point out they're like, gosh, you're like so negative, you're always complaining, which I don't think I'm always complaining. I'm just talking about my feelings and what I'm going through. But um yeah, I just feel like I'm like a happy person with like a sad mind. Yeah.
And in the end of the day, you are not alone out there. There are so many people that have all of us. We have those up and downs and question ourselves. You know, aging. It's all of that. It comes and it's a natural thing to be. If you didn't feel those feelings, you'd be like, "Oh my God, you're not a human being." You know what I mean? In the end of the
Yeah.
day, all of us we go through that, and sometimes we find ourselves thinking, maybe it's just me going through that. But trust me, all of us go through that, like big time. Cool.
Yeah.
Three questions left. Let's do
Oh
it.
wow. Okay.
Before the next question, I'm gonna ask one question in two parts. Okay. Um, you know, this, let's say, event in your life about your student loan. Yeah. My question to you is, looking back, or the person you are right now, the place where you are right now regarding that, you know, you've learned a lot for sure. Tell me, my question for you is, do you think that this situation it meant to happen to you? And the other part of the question is, what's the positive outcome that you took out of this, you know, very challenging journey in your life?
Mm. I got teary-eyed with you asking that. Of course, I'm highly emotional, so it's no surprise. But it's so funny you asked that because it's something in the past like 6 months to a year I've really been asking myself, like, do I feel like all of this was meant to happen? And it's so difficult for me to think about it and answer it because like just because things are good now, it doesn't erase like how much suffering there was 8, 9, 10 years ago when all of this was like fresh and happening. Um, but I think I've really tried to learn as I'm getting older that like everything did get you to where you are now. And at least I'm happy and content now that I could say that. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, I wouldn't have given that answer. But I think as I'm settling into a more peaceful life, a happier life, um, I think I am accepting everything happens how it's meant to. Like even here we go, tangent, but like even the first guy I was in a relationship with, like he was kind of the reason I ended up in New York City. I don't think I ever would have ended up in New York City if it wasn't for him. And, when the relationship ended, I was really resentful towards him. I was really angry. I was devastated. I was heartbroken. And um, I guess it's moments like that where I realized, but had all of that not happened the way it did, I wouldn't have lived in New York City, which wasn't the best time of my life, but it definitely helped develop me as like an adult of who I am today. And I do have some crazy times and memories there, and I met friends there. Um, but if we're talking about the student loan debt specifically, I can't go back and take it away. I've had to learn to live with it for the past 10 years, and all of that has made my life what it is today. I still don't think I had to suffer as much as I did to be here, but I'm here and I'm happy and content and in a way better situation than 10 years ago. So, um, yeah, I hope I answered that first part. I don't know, it's kind of all over the place. And then the second part was,
What's the positive message or the positive lesson you've learned through that challenging journey?
oh man. Um, well, for one, never to give up, because there definitely were times where uh I really just didn't want to live anymore. Just, I know, here we go, we're gonna go there. But because I was like, I know it's not gonna get better. I told myself there's no way this is gonna get better. Being in this much debt, making such little money. I had a back injury at that time, which made going to work every day really difficult, but I needed the money. So there was like, I was so stuck. And um trying to put all my thoughts together. I'm sorry. It's like it's kind of like traumatic for me to go back and like feel those feelings. So I
So
kind of black
sorry,
out.
Brian. Sorry, don't need to go. You
No,
can.
it's okay. No, I'm to be able to talk about it in any regard is great, but um sometimes I wonder, man, I don't know. For one, I'm so glad that I'm able to help other people. I
Okay.
know that's a huge positive outcome that has come from this, is that, for so long I thought it was just me struggling with student loan debt. And after sharing my story and going viral and people knowing me for that, like the amount of people that message me that say, like, I feel seen by your content, or I'm helping people avoid doing what I'm doing. Um, I think that is the most positive thing that could come from my situation, because again, I can't take it away. I can't,
Mhm.
unfortunately, go back in time and do it again. So um, if me being able to help others in any regard is the positive that comes out of this situation, that's great for me.
See. Okay. Next question is: tell us about your guilt pleasure.
Oh man. Um I I it's not sexual. I'm actually not really a sexual person at all, so I don't want anyone to think that's where I'm gonna go. But I don't feel like I really could say what my guilty pleasure is, but let me try to think of another one. I love watching their content like all the time. It's just very like relaxing to me. Um, my guilty pleasure. Okay, so I guess another one I could say is like listening to ASMR. I know it's probably such a boring answer, but um, I don't know. I feel like I listen to that like religiously, like almost every night.
Mhm.
But I don't know, it's kind of random to say. So I don't know. I probably could think of a better one, but that popped in my head. So
Okay, they're not right or wrong, just what comes to your mind straight away.
yeah.
Two questions left. Let's do it. Next question for you is again about dating. What do you think is a good age to start dating and why?
Oh, interesting. I don't. I personally don't think dating young is a good idea.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel like we all. I mean, we're always changing in
Yeah.
life as we grow older and develop. But like my first relationship, we were both 18 when we started, and you just don't even know who you are. There's so much for you to figure out about yourself and about life and where you're gonna go and even where you want to end up. Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe starting to like seriously date in your like mid 20s would probably make more sense just because you have a bit more of like a foundation built in your life. You kind of know who you are a little bit more. I think as you get older, you know what you want out of a relationship and a partner. Where when I was 18, I was just like, oh, someone like really likes me and I like him, and like, okay, we'll just be together. And I mean, that relationship was great for the most part, but um, I think seriously dating and like in the headspace of like I want to spend the rest of my life with someone, I would say probably starting in like your mid 20s. But people are probably so that's as a gamer. I guess I should say that. I feel like not to categorize people, that's like my one. I hate to make everyone be so like in a category, but um, I do feel like maybe like straight couples they tend to like get married quite early, like early 20s to maybe mid 20s, because they want to have kids and start a family. Typically, maybe not, but um I don't know. So people probably hear like start seriously dating in your mid 20s and they're like, "Oh my God, like people are already married with a kid by 25." But um just from my experience, I always took dating very seriously. Like I would have married the first guy I dated. Like I don't know. I just was very like after I came out to my family, um I always just wanted to be in love and like share my life with someone. So but now that I'm older and have kind of been through it, I feel like if you're in your mid 20s, you should kind of, that's when dating is like a good time to start
Amazing.
all over the place.
It's okay. Don't worry about that. Ready for the last one?
I guess so.
Last
It's been
question.
fun. I'm kind of bummed.
Last one. Before the last question, people watch the interview right now, yeah? Let's say that maybe they are struggling with
Mm,
student loan. Yeah, they are struggling. They're in a place where, for example, they're not in the place you are right now, that you found a way to deal with that. But let's say they are lost. Yeah, they are in a place where they don't find a way out of it. What would be your best piece of advice?
ooh. Um, I mean, I felt like that for so many years. I was just going day to day, knowing the problem was never going to get better. But it's so weird because I was like living in these two headspaces at once where I was like, I know it's never going to get better, but I also said, let me do everything I can to try to make it better. And so even though there were so many years where I was like, I'm always going to have this debt, it's never going to go away, my situation is always going to be so messy and chaotic, there always was this little piece deep down that said, but it can be better. Like somehow, some way, I don't know if it's going to happen in years or a decade or what, somehow it can get better. So even when I was making such little money and I really wasn't even able to save much, I always just believed if I save my money, I make good decisions, I, don't desire the things that we see in society, like going shopping and going out to eat. Like, if I just have discipline and make good choices, I might be able to turn this around one day. And I like literally since day one of graduating, having my debt, I completely had to live in that headspace. And it took 10 years, but I now see that every day of those 10 years mattered to where I am today. And, people might say, like, well, like, it's lucky, it's easy for you because you have this like TikTok popularity. I do not make money off of TikTok. I don't know what people's expectations are. I don't. Um, so, I'm not rolling in like influencer money like you might see other people have. And um, all of all of what it took to get me here today was just working multiple jobs, saying no to a lot of things. So that's one big thing I would tell people is like, if you're stuck in a really bad financial situation, student loans or whatever, like you have to believe that it could get better, and then you have to take the actions to make it get better. Like, unfortunately, with money, I'll say something controversial. I don't care. I think about this a lot, and it's like, people might. We're at the end of the interview. Hopefully, I haven't bored everyone away by the end of this, but like, I feel like when it comes to weight loss, let's say, I feel like you have options. You have possibly eating better. You have possibly going to the gym. If you have money, you could even pay for surgeries for weight loss. Like, I feel like with something like weight loss, there's so many options you have out there. But when your problem is money, the only problem to fix it is more money. And that really sucks. Like that, I know that feeling. I said, like, I need to be making more money to get rid of this problem. And I'm all over the place. This is so bad. Anyways, believe if you're financially struggling, believe it could get better, but then take the actions and the steps to make it better. And I know that's way easier said than done, but you're looking at someone who was $130,000 in debt and I was making $11 an hour. Like, I'm not pulling my life experience from nothing, you know? And through all that, like, I never missed a payment. I never was late on my bills. And I know everyone's situation is different, but my situation, I did what I could to be able to achieve that. And now 10 years later, it works out. We're better. So
Amazing.
hopefully that was good. I don't know.
People appreciate that. Again, people appreciate every single advice because, again, you know, as I said, people, they're in different situations, different mindset, this and that. But, you know, listen to from someone who has been, you know, in this very challenging journey. For sure, they're going to take out something out of it. That I believe. Last question for you is, what does happiness mean to you?
Oh my God. I think happiness to me means like freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I do not want to get emotional on this. Of course, I won't. Like I said, I'm always an emotional person, but I think, I feel like I've spent my whole life trying to figure out what happiness is and what it means to me. Like, I wasn't happy as a kid. Doesn't mean I was miserable, but I just don't feel like I had that childhood experience. You know, being in the closet and not growing up in a very healthy environment, I think took a lot away from me as a kid, and I just didn't get to experience that like freedom a child should have. Again, it wasn't the worst, but I do wish things were kind of different. And I just feel like that always kind of stuck with me growing up into adulthood because, you know, I went from a childhood that wasn't really happy to then being a young adult drowning in debt. And I didn't feel like I could be happy and in debt in the same time. Just because everything was so bad at that time. So now that life is so much more stable, I have my TikTok platform that I built and I'm very proud of. And like I said, that was a dream come true that younger me kind of always dreamed of. I do feel happy. And, you know, again, I'm not going to give the fake social media answer. There's a lot of days where I'm not, you know, I'm a person like everyone else is. And, you know, nothing's perfect, but I think I'm learning how to make the best of everything around me. Anyways, all that to say, I think happiness to me is the feeling of freedom that, um, you know, life feels good. You don't have that weight on your shoulders, which I did for and so many years. And just enjoying life and whatever your definition of enjoying life is.
Amazing. Okay. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
Let's start with money.
Oh my God, money's such a big one for me. Complicated,
Family.
challenging,
One word for life.
wild,
Okay. Love.
incredible,
Sex.
swell,
Ooh. Politics.
exhausting,
Religion.
nice,
Fear.
stupid,
Friendship.
lovely,
Desire.
important,
Regret.
heavy,
Success.
me.
Oh, nice one. Wish.
Wish?
Yeah.
Oh, important,
Happiness.
everything.
One word for Connecticut.
Dull.
And the last one now, USA. One word.
um, ah, I wish I could have a whole sentence. um, lucky.
Okay. Actually, one more. Student loan. One word.
Evil.
Okay. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely sister, the one who got married this weekend, and I'm going to ask her, define Bradley in one positive word and one negative word only. What should say?
Oh, positive word and a negative word. Positive, I think she would say dedicated.
Mhm.
Um, because like I was by her side the whole wedding, making sure she looked beautiful and had everything she wanted. So I definitely, when I want something to be perfect, I do it. A negative, oh my God. Um, mm, it's not one word. I'll say over the top, like in a negative way. Like a lot.
What's your star sign?
Oh, I'm a Sagittarius, right? Is that what you're asking? I know, I don't know anything about that so bad.
I'll tell you something. Sagittarius, they have the biggest heart compared with other star sign in the astrology.
So I'm told.
There we go.
I believe it.
Let's play now Bradley and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. All right, you can ask me a question now.
So I actually over the summer I went to London for the first time,
Oh,
and
wow.
I know we could have done this in person. Um, and so you told me that you live in London.
Yes.
So if the stars were ever to align, I know I'm crazy to say it, but I would love to live there for a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, I know. Tourist for 5 days, and I think I want to live there. But I hear a lot of people say like it is not moving to the UK is not it. Like I'll see. Oh my God, I'm taking forever to ask. I'm sorry. I'll see like content about London like on Instagram, and all the comments are just like, "Don't come here, get out." The best thing I did was leave. And like people could say the same thing about New York City, and I lived in New York City, and that was my feeling. Like, what a hole it is. But it's kind of fun too. So, if someone was considering moving to London or the UK in general, what would you say?
Good question. Good question. And I'll tell you something. You say I've been in London 18 years now, so it's been a long time. I'll tell you something now. When people say that London, for example, New York and London, they have this, big city vibe where everything is expensive, where everything is very fast. People they don't have time, and people they are always busy with their own lives. you know, it's true. Absolutely. London is a place where, it depends what you're looking for, depends the lifestyle you want to have. So there are a lot of things involved. So I believe that a lot of people, I've been here for so many years and I've seen so many people leaving. Yeah, they come to, they, for different reasons, they, for the opportunities, for the language, for London itself, for the big, you know, picture of London when people think about. It's true. It's true. It can be overwhelming. It can be a bit stressful. I totally understand that. But at the same time as well, it's a city where there are a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of if you like to to get to know people around the world. If you people there is a thing here in London. They say people don't care. It's so true because when I say that, it's not in a negative way. For example, people literally they don't care if you leave the house like wearing whatever. Yeah, people literally don't care. They carry on their life. They might look at you, they see, and they carry on with their lives. You know what I mean? And it's so true. That makes sense because people I've seen, trust me, I've seen so many things in London. People wearing or express in a way that my goodness in a million years I'll never see that or think about that. People literally don't care. They might look, they might, but they carry on their lives, not always, of course. There's always, the exceptions. But what I can tell you is, Bradley, it depends what you want to live, the lifestyle you want to live. I personally love London. I tell you why. I love the buzz, you know what I mean? The London is very fast. For me, suits very well. You can go in the same bar every night. You can see different persons. Always gonna see different faces. There are a lot of things happen in London. You can go out. Depends what you like. You can go out like every day, and it's gonna feel like a Saturday night. You can go if you're in a quiet place. You can go out in some place that you don't feel like you are in London. So there are so many places in London that offers you depending what you like, depending the tribe, depending what you want to do. So, but I understand as well. So there are negative, positive as well. This is London. Outside, in England, other cities, it's totally the opposite. So I can tell you, it depends. People they hate or people they love it. You know what I mean? That's how I see. So yeah, and it depends but it's like New York City, I would say as well. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as well. It just depends what you're looking for your life, what you want, how you want to live. You know what I mean? I must say it's very expensive to live in London. It's not cheap at all. It's really expensive when you compare with other cities in Europe. So yeah, it just depends what you're looking for, what lifestyle you want to live. Well, so yeah, that's my answer to you.
Cool.
So tell me, when you arrived in London, what was the first big impression when you saw, okay, I'm in London?
Um, I don't know. I honestly, truly always wanted to go to London or the UK just for the accent.
Okay.
Um, so I don't know. I kind of went with no expectation. It just was like it's something that I have wanted to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I found a really cheap flight because me, cheap money.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It was so fun, and I kind of avoided like all the touristy stuff. I literally kind of just wanted to exist as if I was a local.
Yeah.
So, I just went for like small restaurants, and I ended up on this because it was June, so Pride Month, and there was like kind of like a queer support group, I guess I would call it, that was
Mm-hmm.
going on. And someone from TikTok knew I was in London who was a part of that group. So he invited me. And it was a boat ride on the, how do you say? It's Thames.
Thames River. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thames.
And I know, awful. My, my enunciation. But um, it was such a blast to be on the boat, and it went by all the touristy spots like the London Eye and the oh my god, it's not, I know it's not the London Tower Bridge, right?
Tower Bridge. Yeah. Tower
Yes,
Bridge.
yeah.
Yeah.
um it's just it all was just so cool, and to like speak with people who live there, it was great. I loved it, and it's like I don't think I would expect for my life to remain there, but I would love to just do something new for like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
um and just because I think that's another thing with my student loan debt too, is like, yes, I lived in New York City, and I'm very grateful that I had that time in my life, but I feel like in general because of money and the student loan debt, like I don't like to say I missed out because I did get to experience a lot of like really fun and great things, especially living in New York City. But I just feel like now that my life is more together and my situation's better, like I want to like dream, I want to
Mhm.
think big,
Sure.
not just stay in like the little suburbs of Connecticut forever. So I don't know, just something I have my eye on to like go somewhere. I don't know where, but I don't know. We might need to get married so I could get citizenship.
I'm gonna just back to your question. Just something came to my mind right now. I've been in New York City once. Was a dream as a teenager go to New York City back in Brazil. And I tell you something now. I, I've heard some people who lives in London went to New York City, and some of them said to me, William, New London. When I came back to London, London felt small compared to New York City. So it's something there that people they say that London is big, but not like New York City. So
Interesting.
I've heard a few people mention that. Okay, I spent some time in New York City, and London felt small. So I'm sure people there, if they felt this way, there's something behind. So you need to come to London, live for a while to see and make up your own opinion regarding that.
Right. Yeah. If I ever make it over there, I'll message you.
Absolutely, it'll be a pleasure to show you different parts of London that people they don't know. You know what I mean? That's the
Right.
beauty of London. Sometimes you walk around. This morning I went for a walk with a good friend of mine in the park for a coffee. Oh my God, it felt so great. And seeing just locals, people do you know what I mean? Just like running and walking their dogs, this kind of thing. So you don't see in this big places where a lot of tourists they are. Did you enjoy the interview?
This was really fun. I wouldn't say I was scared to do it, but I just had no idea like the expectation. But
Huh?
it was really great. Yeah, and I appreciate anyone who ever reaches out to me for anything, whether it's NBC News or, someone like you just doing like a little random, thing. Like I think it's always so cool to me. That's like the little younger version of
Yeah,
me who's just like people on the
amazing.
internet. Yeah, it's cool. So thank you.
Thanks so much for taking the time. Thanks for being so open, talking about those challenge joining your life. And again, you are always helping people because you never know who is watching, you never know where this interview can get. And also, people appreciate that. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
But before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by with your best British accent.
Ah, well, oh
I'm
no.
joking. I'm
Okay,
joking.
that's not gonna end well. So, I have something on my phone, because I know I had to be prepared for this ahead of time. Uh, oh my God, I don't want to say it in an accent. It's so embarrassing. So,
Can you make it up? If you can't, it's fine. I
no,
just
it's
was
okay.
teasing you.
I
I was
I
teasing
love the
you.
accent. I always heard it was offensive for an American to do the British accent. You know what I mean? So, but I know we're safe here. We're safe here. So, I found a quote that I really liked, and it said, "It's it's never too late to be what you might have been." That was the worst. Um, but that when I saw that quote, that really stuck with me to say it's never too late to be what you might have been, just because, I turned 30 this year and I know 30's not me in the casket. I get it. I'm like, people say your 30's are your prime and incredible and great. And um, I just feel like right now in this moment of being, when I was 29 or 30, like I feel like I have become everything I wanted and like everything I dreamed of. And but it took so many years of not living a life I was happy with and not being who I wanted and never thinking I could achieve what I have currently achieved. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's actually crazy. I know this has been way too long. You're probably like, I don't even know how you're gonna edit this, but um,
So
last week was actually the 10-year anniversary since I graduated from college. So it's been, 10 years of this student loan piece to my life. And um, I say that because it took 10 years to achieve where I'm at today. And I guess that quote just stuck with me to say, like, it's never too late, essentially, for you to become who you're meant to be. Because I never would have dreamed 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago that this all would have happened, and that everything would have gotten better and turned around. So
Amazing.
that's that.
Thank you so much, Bradley. It was a pleasure. Regards to your sister, to your family, and you keep in touch. Okay, it was a pleasure. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, William.
Keep in touch. Bye bye.
Yes, we will. Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.